Why do I feel sad for no reason? You know, it isn't that you feel sad for no reason at all. Usually that elusive reason is just that, elusive. As in, you just don't recognize the reason. The mind's job is to constantly scan for any possible threats, whether conscious or not. What you call sad for no reason is usually something in the background that is now slowly rising to the surface. A backlog of unprocessed emotion, often built up from suppressed reactions, avoided truths, or unmet expectations. When we think about it, we should come to the conclusion that there are no problems. But your mind, of course, thinks otherwise. It just absolutely must hold on to all the imaginary burdens, no matter how small they are. And also it clings to stories that never got closure. So even when nothing is objectively wrong, the body is still straining in the background, like too many apps running in the background of your phone. Things slow down, heat up, and the battery drains way faster than usual. The body-mind works the same way. What makes it feel so out of place is you've disconnected the emotional signal from its source. And who knows? Maybe it's the years of never being able to speak your truth. Maybe it's even your body finally reacting to all the caffeine you pump into it, or the constant lack of sleep, or social media comparison fatigue. Maybe it's just the misalignment we all eventually feel when the person we present ourselves to be has become too much of a burden. Again, who really knows? But the sadness you feel isn't arbitrary. You've just tuned it out for too long. As Nisargadatta pointed out, emotions are not you. They're just phenomena happening. When the I you think you are stops desperately holding on to meaning or identity, the sadness is just another sensation. Let's take the typical example of you scrolling through some social media website. Everywhere you look, everyone's getting married. They travel around the world and build things. You, on the other hand, aren't doing any of that right now. But instead of noticing that slight sting of comparison, you brush it off and keep scrolling. Repeat this hundreds of times. Your body doesn't forget. So a week later, you're sitting on your couch and a wave of sadness hits. You think, I don't know why I feel this way. But your inner workings do. It's just finally catching up to you. And wouldn't you know it, the same thing happens after you push through long periods of emotional avoidance or people-pleasing. Sadness is often just your body saying, I'm tired of pretending everything is fine. So now you might say, that's all well and good, but what do I do specifically to get rid of that feeling? Don't analyze it to death. Don't try to solve it. Just feel it. The sadness is only asking to be noticed without resistance. Next time, just ask, what would happen if I didn't fight this? The only way out is through. Can I manifest a better life for myself? No. Next question. You want an explanation? Okay, if it must be done. A lot of YouTube influencers say you can. And guess what? They are lying to you to keep you watching. You can't manifest a better life the way they say. Reality doesn't care about your vision board. The idea that you just align your vibration and everything magically works out is comforting to say the least. But it's really just snake oil. What's really happening is more psychological. Your attention is your leverage, meaning wherever it goes, your energy follows. The universe isn't your personal wish granter. Who knew, right? But your attention is what shapes your perception. When you believe something strongly enough, you unconsciously act in ways that support it. That's just pattern recognition and bias in action. Nothing magical about it. Nisargadatta and Ramana Maharshi didn't talk about manifesting. They talked about seeing through the illusion of a separate self who needs to get something in the first place. The one trying to attract love, money, or happiness is the same one that believes he lacks those things. As long as you're trying to manifest a better future, you're reinforcing that what you are now isn't enough. Alan Watts put it this way: you don't stand outside the universe and manipulate it. You are the universe, pretending to be a person trying to fix itself. Still, does that mean you should just do nothing? Not exactly. You can make different choices. You can focus on what matters. You can stop wasting time with self-sabotaging habits. And when you do, your life changes because you stopped bullshitting yourself. Most of us hate our jobs. In many cases, not immediately after we start, but eventually it will happen. So you start binging manifestation videos telling you to script your dream reality. You write in your journal every night, "I am wealthy and free," but you do nothing to get there. You don't apply for new roles, learn new skills, or change how you show up. Months pass, nothing happens. Why? Because you're still outsourcing your life to some magical process instead of facing the uncomfortable truth. If you do nothing, nothing changes. Now reverse it. Let's say you stop fixating on attracting success and just start building something, possibly imperfect, but consistently. You talk to people, learn from your failures, and just keep momentum going. Over time, your situation improves. Was it manifested, or was it just cause and effect? So again, no. Manifesting does not work. Stop believing that you need to become someone else to live the life of your dreams. Why does falling in love feel like losing myself? Because it is. Falling in love influences the parts of your mind that usually manage identity and self-reference. Suddenly, someone else becomes the mirror for your value. Your moods depend on their replies. Your plans bend around their presence. You no longer feel like a standalone person. You've merged your emotional operating system with theirs. That's why it initially feels so euphoric and also terrifying. Falling in love also triggers a chemical reaction, a neurobiological storm, really. Your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and norepinephrine, the same chemicals linked to addiction, bonding, and focus. In short, love is literally mind-altering. It hijacks the usual systems that manage identity and mood, flooding them with signals that say, "This person matters more than anything else right now." The thing is, though, you're not actually losing your true self. How could you? What you are losing is the mental construct you thought was you. And since that construct was made of routines, opinions, and the illusion of control, falling in love breaks that apart. For you see, it disrupts your usual conditioning and makes space for something entirely new. Right now, what you think you are is already false. As John Wheeler points out, what's real doesn't get lost. If you can vanish in the presence of another person, then what was that you made of to begin with? The problem starts when you panic. The loss of your familiar self feels like death, so you try to hang on with all your might. You overthink, You try to define the relationship, lock things in, get guarantees. And just like that, what started out as something beautiful has now turned into something toxic. Neediness rules your actions. You try to possess the person who triggered the dissolution of your identity, and wouldn't you know it, that's not really love anymore, just your self trying to preserve itself. The ego staying alive while disguising it as romance. Think of it like this. You're texting someone you really like. They don't respond for a few hours. You go from relaxed to spiraling, checking your phone every 5 minutes. You reread your last message and wonder if you said too much or not enough. Your mind creates scenarios, and in all of them, your sense of worth is at stake. Why? Because you've handed the steering wheel of your emotional state to another human being and called it love. The radical claim from Nisargadatta and John Wheeler is this: you're not even in love with the other person. What you're truly in love with is the temporary absence of your mental self. The person is a mirror. They show you what it's like when you are not present. As Wheeler said, what's real never comes and goes. What you're falling for is the glimpse of yourself without story, and it looks like another person. What's actually happening is that love exposed your illusion of being separate and in control. That's why it feels like a free fall. It's also why falling in love feels a lot like being drunk. You lose inhibition, time dilates, you idealize the other person, and your usual sense of self dissolves in the intoxication of connection. It's not just poetic, it's neurochemical. You are, quite literally, not yourself. And for a while that feels like freedom. Now don't think you have to shut down or detach or some silly thing like that. Just stop pretending that losing your false sense of self is a problem. The fear only appears when you think there's something to protect. Let it unravel. What's left is presence, finally unfiltered. Does karma exist? Karma isn't some scoreboard tracking your good and bad deeds, or a spiritual reward and punishment arrangement where the universe gives you what you deserve according to some abstract human morality system. You live with the consequences of how you act in the world. That's it. Your beliefs, reactions, and habits create a chain of cause and effect. The almighty universe isn't judging you, and neither is some other godly figure. As Ricky Gervais already said, what would morality be worth if we'd only abide by it because of the threat of eternal damnation? Life is a chain reaction, not some courtroom. Your body-mind is a bundle of patterns that keep running unless interrupted. That's karma, not a mystical debt. What happens if you snap at people often? They stop trusting you. What happens if you are constantly afraid of everything? You'll attract fear-based choices. And what happens if you're always trying to manipulate outcomes? You'll live in constant stress. None of this is punishment. It's just what happens when you live through a false self. Same goes for so-called good karma. If you're grounded and honest, things tend to be relatively stable, not always in the way you want, but in the sense that life stops feeling like whiplash. Again, not a reward, just less chaos. Now let's say you keep ghosting people after a few dates. You justify it with, "I'm just not ready," or "it's just bad timing," or I didn't feel it. Over time, that becomes your reflex. Then one day you meet someone you really like and it feels threatening. You think, why am I trying to sabotage this? That's karma. You trained yourself to run, and now you don't know how to stay anymore. If you want to break karma, stop acting from the autopilot called me. Start from silence, from presence, from I don't know. Nisargadatta said it clearly. To know what you are, you must first know what you are not. So you see, karma, as we interpret it today, isn't some form of spiritual weight you have to carry. It only keeps repeating because you keep identifying with the same mental pattern. The past isn't chasing you. How could it? It's only you. Because you are the one dragging your old beliefs into everything. The moment you stop thinking of yourself as the one who did that, or the one who has to fix it, karma becomes obsolete. There's no self left to punish. If you really want to be done with karma, stop trying to manage it like a to-do list. Stop trying to offset it with good behavior. Instead, just try to see that the whole thing runs on the false assumption that you are the doer. You're not. Stuff happens. Choices come to fruition. Stop the me, and the whole karmic economy disappears. That includes the idea of being someone who needs to clear karma. Instead of trying to fix your past, just stop living from it. Why do I keep saying yes when I want to say no? Social stigma is a hell of a drug. You are more afraid of being disliked than being authentic. Understand that saying yes when you want to say no isn't kindness, just self-abandonment. And it usually starts early. You learned, consciously or not, that approval equals safety. Maybe in your family, no meant conflict, or rejection, or punishment, so you unconsciously linked boundaries with danger. Now, as an adult, you feel guilt or anxiety every time you try to prioritize yourself. Most of your yeses are lies. They're transactions. You're saying yes in exchange for peace, likability, or the illusion of control. And that breeds resentment, which means you're just delaying the inevitable. This behavior is built on a false premise that there's a you who has to manage other people's reactions, but that you is just thought. It's a story trying to stay safe by staying agreeable. What you call politeness is often just fear in a suit and tie. Take a modern example. Your co-worker asks you to cover their shift again. You're tired and already overextended, but the words come out. Sure, no problem. Then you spend the next 24 hours stewing about it. And why is that? Because part of you knows you just betrayed yourself for the sake of being seen as nice. The cost for this builds up over time. All these fears you have are just thoughts, and thoughts are not facts. You don't have to start being rude, just be genuine, as in forthright. Practice micro-refusals. Let me get back to you. Not today. That doesn't work for me. You don't owe anyone a reason. As Ramana Maharshi said, the self doesn't act. The I who feels obligated is imaginary. You're reacting to a phantom. No one is as disappointed in you as your mind tells you they'll be. Saying no doesn't make you mean. Don't let anyone tell you that. It makes you authentic. And that's the only thing that's sustainable. If that feels like something you would like to know more about, check out our digital retreat. We have created a more structured approach that will guide you from sheer intellectual understanding you get from just watching videos on YouTube, to actually seeing for yourself what we are talking about and making it a part of your own experience. In this course, you will find meditations, videos, and pointers for the sole purpose of taking you from superficial knowledge to the deep recognition of your true self. There is also a free guided self-inquiry available on our channel, which might already be enough. All info is in the description box below,